And so what is TrueVenture's in terms of the mission? It's a new venture capital firm.
Sure.
I know that. I think there's 2 or 3 funds. I'm not sure exactly. How big are the funds, and what's the sort of mission statement? I mean, it's obviously got a lot of people are very, very well respected, I think, with O'Malley and Matt, people with true credibility sort of are in the family. Why did you found it? What is the founding mission?
So John Callahan, John Burke, and Phil Black are the 3 founding partners of it. Tony Schneider and I were there, you know, and part of the founding team. Tony and I obviously have different roles. Tony's CEO of Automatic, and I was CEO of Sphere at the time. But True has 2 funds. Both of them are about $200 million. Great funds, great group of guys. And I think what we felt was that the model, you know, the model was a little bit broken in the sense that there was a lot of great venture capital out there for companies that were a little further along, but there wasn't really venture capital serving entrepreneurs at that initial stage.
Right,
These
very
companies,
early.
Exactly. And if you think about it, I mean, 5 years ago, you didn't really have Union Square Ventures, First Round, us, you know, other folks in the game that are serving.
People tailored just to that
Bingo.
sort of 1 person, 2 people with an idea and maybe a website.
That's right. And there were angels, but they weren't what I'll call the super angels or the professional, you know, professionally focused angels.
Yeah, you wouldn't know if they're in Aspen or Tahoe, where that angel is at a given point in time. They might take 6 months off. They might be back.
Bingo. So we felt like there was a great opportunity to go serve that type of entrepreneur very early on. And we also knew, and I think everybody should have known, but we definitely knew as part of our ethos from the beginning, these companies don't need $2-3 million to get going.
No.
Right? These companies need $500,000.
It's almost distracting.
Yeah, it's actually a distradivantage in a lot of cases. I like to say to an entrepreneur, your time is your best currency. It's your most valuable asset. You know, you got $2 million, trust me, you got to hang out with it for a long time, much longer than, even if you know it's not working or it's not going to work. You know,
you got to sit around and what do I do?
Yeah, because it's hard to give that money back. Right. You could, but emotionally it's like, I can't do that.
It becomes a burden.
It becomes a forcing mechanism for saying, does this thing really merit, when you have less money, does it really merit additional
There is
capital?
a point in time, 9, 12, whatever months out, that the person has to look deeply at themselves and say, is this worth pursuing again? There's a decision point to be made. As opposed to if you have $3 million and 4 or 5 people, you can go for 4 years.
There you go.
In the wrong direction. You got enough fuel, enough rope to hang yourself in a way. How much of the early stage, when you meet these young entrepreneurs, first-time entrepreneurs, I guess is a lot of the focus. Even O'Malley, first-time entrepreneur, with his product, journalist turned entrepreneur and now turned VC. How much of it is about building their confidence and building them up to believe that they can do it?
I think it's almost 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, Ohm is a great example.
Right.
I mean, Ohm he's had one of the most popular tech blogs, one of the most popular blogs, period.
Right.
You know, it's in his
Top
DNA,
25 blog, yeah.
You know, and Ohm talked for a long time about breaking away from the traditional kind of journalism model that he was at B2O at the time, Time Warner Company.
Business 2.0.
Business 2.0.
Right.
And you know, he talked for a long time to do that. And actually what it ended up taking.
It was years.
So it's a great story. So he came over to our little kind of satellite office in the city. And
this is the one on the pier?
No, this is one before that, over in the Presidio.
Okay.
And so it was Phil, John, myself, Tony, we're all there. I think John Burke might have been there as well. And so he came in and, you know, it was just more informational, like what's going on in blogging, self-publishing, why is this an important trend? Right. And at the end of it, we just wrote him a physical check.
Before he left the building?
He hadn't even started his company. He hadn't even agreed to start his company.
And you're just like, here, take
We're just like, like, you need to do this.
No brainer.
Right? And you can do this. You're already doing this.
Right.
Here, this will help.
Right.
Right?
How big is a check like that? 250?
I think it was 250.
250.
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, we
just made out to O'Malley or the name of his company?
And made out to Jason Calcanis.
I like this. I like this idea. I have an idea right now. And so it really is. I mean, I found that now with the angel investing, a lot of it is letting the guys know, like, hey, you are going to kick ass. And this is going to kick ass. And you can do it. And there's no difference between you and the people who have done it before you.
That's right.
I mean, in a way, if you look at Facebook.
You've been watching This Week in Startups. To watch the full episode, click here. To check out some other shows from This Week In, click here.